Hey y'all, hope everything is going well with y'all. So today I wanted to go over the story that you were supposed to read last week, which was the lottery. And then I want to go over a preview what you're going to be doing this week for your two assignments, your two lessons. They're due on Friday. And then I want to review Dystopias with you. And then possibly maybe see about maybe we can do a project next week, possibly. So first things first. So you have two lessons which will be due on Friday. I'm going to review Dystopias. You have a new text. And then we're going to be comparing, and then maybe next week we can do a project. So I will be posting a survey at the end of the lesson for today. If you could please fill it out for me, that way I can kind of see, kind of get an idea of where you guys are, if there's something that you guys want to do, or if there's a way that I can make the lessons more engaging, then you can share that with me at that time. So first things first, dystopias. So dystopia is an imagined state or society in which there is great suffering or injustice, typically one that is totalitarian or post-apocalyptic. So if something is imagined, of course it is fiction, it's not true. And so great suffering or injustice means it's as unpleasant as possible, it's not fair. And then totalitarian just means total, just means the government controls every single thing. Okay, that's never good. Okay, the people should always have some modicum of control. Okay, so dystopia overview. Usually, it's a story about a fairly messed up future where the people find themselves in an oppressive society. So the powers that be, usually the government, often try to pass off the messed up existence as a perfect society. So if you've ever seen Hunger Games, The Giver, Divergent, Unwind, all of those will be classified as dystopias. Okay, so why do people write dystopias? Like, what's the point? Usually if someone writes something, um, there's a reason why they're writing it. Okay, they're trying to prove a point. They're trying to tell you something, trying to get you to understand something. So dystopias are a fairly effective way of making a criticism or critique of a current trend or societal ill in our own world. So in other words, the extreme society that exists in a dystopia helps us to see the more subtle problems in our own. Okay, so there's usually an overarching problem, and they're trying to highlight something. They're using that overarching problem to highlight something that's going wrong in our world or in our society. So that's the point of a dystopia. So the lottery. So the setting, it's sunny in a rural village. Everything seems peaceful. You can kind of tell they're like out in the country, like they're farmers. They grow their own food. They probably have cattle or animals, like a lot of people in Texas. All right, so the characters, they're making small talk. They're joking around. You see the boys, they're hanging. The boys are like all clicked up. The girls are like separated off. The kids are playing. So the lottery. So what exactly is the lottery? So the lottery is when the head of households draw a piece of paper, the family who ends up with the black dot then has to draw again. So everybody in the town gets together in this little area, the same place where they host like dances and things like that. And the head of the households, which are usually the dads, they come and they all draw a piece of paper for their family. So the dad, or in a case where situation where the dad had broken his leg, the mom drew. Um, the family member, so the dad, whoever has a black piece of paper, that family, they all have to draw again. Okay, and then on those pieces of paper that they have to draw from, there's a black dot, and they have to. The family, once the family draws, the person who gets the black dot is then stoned to death. So what do you mean when Miss Verdi, when you say someone's being stoned to death? Well, they literally throw stones at you until you die. So it's not a easy way to go. It's really it can be a long process because you can throw stones at someone and they hurt, but they don't cause enough damage to kill you, right? You have to hit like a headshot. You have to like get hit in the head probably really hard. You will have to get hit in the head really hard with a stone in order for it to like kill you. So that's what the lottery is. You're literally drawing for your death. That's what it is. So, yeah. So everyone, including little Davy, Tessie's young son, stones her to death as she pleads for her life. So they all gather in the town. Um, Tessie was the one who showed up late. She said she was washing her dishes. Um, Her husband Drew, and as soon as he picked the name, she was like, "Oh, it wasn't fair, you know. Oh yeah, we need to. Uh, you need to draw again. You didn't give him enough time to choose which paper he wanted." And everybody was like, "Oh, be a good sport about it." Like everybody before was happy. So like the interesting thing about this story was that you did not see what was coming. I know. I remember when I first read this, I was like, "What the heck?" Like the lottery. I thought it was going to be something good. Like, okay, usually when someone talks about the lottery, you're winning money, something good, not literally pretty much gambling for your life. So Tessie gets, she's all upset, and everybody's like, "Oh, be a good sport about it." And then they draw again, and the kids they draw their papers, and they don't have the black dot, so they're all happy. And one of Nancy's friends were like, "I hope Nancy doesn't get the dot," and the husband draws, Hope opens his, and he doesn't have the black dot. So they have to pry the paper, like take the paper out of Tessie's hand to see that she has a black dot. And everybody picks up these stones. So at the beginning, you saw that, well, you should have read where all these boys had gathered all of these stones and put them into the corner. And when the dads got there, like the men of the town, they kind of like, they didn't stay near the stones. Um, and so like when I read this story the first time, I was like, what's up with the stones? Because I kept seeing people picking up stones. The boys had filled their pockets with stones. They were gathering stones in the corner. The dad stood away from the stones. So I could tell that the stones in some way were significant. So, and then when I read it the second time, I was like, oh, like that makes total sense because they're freaking stoning people. Like, what? So now the thing about it is that when you see that when they talk about this lottery thing, you can see that it is a tradition that the town does not want to get rid of. Um, and you can see that it's been going on for a very long time. I think Old Man Warner said it had been like 70 something years. It was his 70 something year one that he had attended and made it through, and then the guy who was running it, Mr. Summers, he was really happy, jovial guy. That's how they described him. So that also was a little bit misleading for me because you would think that someone who had that much personality, who was so happy, wouldn't be in charge of something like the lottery, where they end up stoning people to death. So that is pretty weird. The whole thing was crazy. I don't think this crazy. I liked it though. I like the story. I like that it was unexpected. I like stories where they don't turn out how you expect them to. So it's a tradition that's been going on. They talk about how there are some towns who are getting rid of it. But Old Man Warner is just like, nah, we're not gonna get rid of it. Mr. Summers, he's trying to like update it a little bit, like try to get a new box, and he switched out the old wood chips that they used to put the dot on to paper. But it's kind of like the way that they described it, it was almost like it was important, but it wasn't important because of how they kept the box. Like the box would be here one place and it would be another place. It wasn't as if they like kept the box in this one place and you could just, it was always there. So it was like in some ways it followed tradition and in other ways it didn't follow tradition. But it was clear to see that they weren't going to get rid of this tradition. Okay, so it calls into question tradition, the dark side of human nature, and violence. Okay, so tradition. So sometimes people have traditions and they should need to get rid of. Okay, so it comes down to it. At what point do you? What are the deciding factors on keeping a tradition versus getting rid of a tradition? All right, is it all just because something is tradition? Do you have to keep it? You know. So think about those things. Think about. I mean, we all have traditions in our own families. And I know when you get your own family, you're going to have to decide if you're going to continue the traditions that your family did with you, whether that was opening up one present on Christmas Eve or waiting until Christmas Day to open up all your presents. Those are the type of traditions that I'm talking about. But of course, this one is a much this is a morbid tradition because you're actually putting somebody's life into danger, but putting somebody's life on the line. But think about those things. Okay, so then you also have the dark side of human nature. Okay, them actually killing someone and making light of the killing. Right, everybody threw stones. Even the baby, even the little baby Davy, he couldn't even pick the paper by himself. He threw stones and stoned his own mom. These people threw their. Then I understand it. Everybody has to throw stones because then you can't say, oh well, Jimmy's family is the one that killed my mom, and so it's like everybody participates. That way, the blame falls on everybody, and then with the blame falling on everybody, the blame falls on no one. If that does that make sense? Okay. Also, it's violence. Okay, so this is you throwing stones at somebody until they die. That's a really rough death. Okay, you literally have to keep throwing stones until you kill the person. Okay, it's not quick like you getting shot, right? Or you getting stabbed in the heart and you're dead. It's you're getting peppered. Literally, they are throwing stones at you. And the lady had a huge stone. The lady that she had talked to, Delacroix, she had a huge stone. She couldn't even pick it up. Like, are y'all hearing me? This is crazy. So think about that as you're, maybe you might want to go back and reread it again. After I've kind of explained it to you, then you can kind of see the significance of the rocks and you can kind of understand like really what's happening. Okay. So society is designed to treat people equally, no unfair advantages. So everyone draws a piece of paper out of the same box. Whether you're a kid, whether you're an adult, everyone draws a piece of paper. Okay. So it discusses societal social issues. So mob mentality, where I'm doing it because everybody else is doing it. Right. And tradition. So people turn against Mrs. Tessie Hutchison immediately. Like, oh, Tessie, be a good sport. Right. She's trying to raise up all these objections about, oh, it wasn't fair, blah, blah, blah. But they were like, nah, yeah, it's happening. Okay. So lack of emotional capacity. So Tessie's kids are relieved that they don't have the black dot, AKA their parents are dying and not them. So they're like, whew, dodge that bullet. At least I'm not dying today. Right. And that's not funny, y'all, but it's just like, it's accepted. It's for them, it's the norm. Right. Okay. So that was the lottery. I hope that explanation helped you to understand what happened. Maybe if you still don't understand it, go back and read it again because you are going to be doing a comparison piece with the lottery. And so just think about what I've told you. And if you need to write down any of these things, you can always go back to this video, pause it, and write down any of the definitions or anything like that that would make you help you to understand this story. All right, that is it. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.